You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Access scan and identification. So, in coming to the Tosca, the main challenges we face in Tosca is creating the modules. Almost 60% of the work is here only. Creating the module is the main challenge for us. If you create the module by selecting the elements uniquely, you can automate the test case easily by creating the test cases and executing them in the execution, which is easy for us. It is almost 40% only. 60% work almost here in the creating the modules. Coming to the web, actually, especially coming to the web, then compared to the SAP and API, we don't need to worry about the scanning and everything. We have several standard models are available for the other applications, but the main challenge will face in web only, because the web application may be designed through different controls and different by writing the code different elements like that. So there are multiple elements. If you click on like this, we have another options. If you click on like this, we will navigate to another page. If you click on like this, like on here, like it will be navigated to another page. Like that, you have multiple sub pages also available for each and every control. So if you know how to automate the web application fully, you can automate the any application. So main challenge we will face it in Tosca is in web applications. So now we are going to discuss about overview of access scan, how we need to scan the control by uniquely, what are the identification methods are providing by the Tosca, what are the available identification methods are there to scan the elements uniquely. Okay, I'm check out. Okay, I did check out. First of all, I'll tell you the concept. If you understand this concept, you can understand it how to scan the elements easily. Assume that you have a 4 chairs in a one room. 4 chairs in one room. If there is a one chair, if I ask someone to bring one chair in a particular room number one, it is easy for him or for her to bring one chair from that room, right? If there are 4 chairs, obviously they will consider which chair I have to bring. Okay. If I give additional property like chair has also properties, right? Chair has colors, chair has style, chair has 4 legs, like that. These are all the properties for the particular things. In the same way, every control has properties. For example, it is a link. It is a link. You can see if I'm placing a cursor on the button, it is highlighting hyperlink. It is a link. It is a button. You can see this is a button. And in the same way, we can have drop down also. These are the drop down. And in the same way, we have text boxes. Okay, for each and every control, if you are scanning through Tosca, for each and every control, there has some properties. If you take this books, it is having a property like name called books. And in the same way, it may have several properties. Okay, so like this, if I ask you to bring the chair, one chair from room number one, if there are 4 chairs, if I ask you to bring one chair from the room number one, you may be confused if it is four. If the room it is having 4 chairs, it is you'll get confused. For example, if I give you additional property like bring the chair which is having a red color. If there is a chair having a red color and only one red color chair is only one red color is chair in the room, you can identify it easily. For example, in the 4 chairs also, if we have 2 chairs which is having a red color, obviously another property I have to give. If I tell you bring one chair which is having a red color and also it is having a like broken, one leg broken like that. So it is identify, it is easy to identify, right? So whenever I am giving additional property, it is easy to identify. If there is one chair, no, there is no discussion. Okay. In the same way, assume that scan and I let you know. I'm taking this only. I scanned this one. What it is showing? The selected item is unique. What are the properties Tosca is taking by default? See, inner text is register. Tag is a tag which A means which is a it is a link. Inner text is register. These two properties Tosca is taking by default, which means this property, this link as having the properties of inner text and what is the type? It is a link, right? So it is taking a tag as A. If we have the same name and same link, another control is there in the same page, obviously Tosca will get confused. We have to give additional property. Okay, but in this page we have only one register and it is a link only. So we don't have any duplicated like same name and same type of element in this page. So that's why it is taking uniquely. For example, see, the selected item is not unique. Why? You can see here, this is a books and a link. This is also a books and a link, right? So the similar control is having the same property. Tosca is getting confused which books is the correct link which we have scanned, which is the correct one. So if you click on like this, you see the properties. It is taking the property as inner text as books and tag as A. In the same way, for this also, we will have a same properties inner text as books and the link as A only tag. Okay. So now for this to avoid this type of scenarios only, the identification methods are came into the picture in Tosca. We have several identification methods to identify the control uniquely. We have four types of identification methods are there for us: properties, anchor, image, and index. Okay, properties, anchor, image, and index. Initially, we will go with the properties. If you are unable to identify the control by uniquely with the properties, then only we will move to anchor. Okay, it is a second priority. Even if you can't identify the control by the anchor also, then you will go with the index and image. The order wise is properties are the first one, next to anchor, next to index, third one, fourth one is image. Okay. Why I am closing scan window every time means if you minimize the scan window while doing something, if you want to go another navigate another window, if you minimize the scan window, Tosca will misbehave. It is I already told you that in the previous class also. it is a powerful engine. So if you minimize and do anything, so it will mess up everything. It may be misbehave sometimes. So if you want to do anything, close the scan window and do. Okay. So I'm repeating it again. In the page, for example, Tosca is taking this page. Tosca will steer all the controls in the page in scan window. There, if you want to select any one of the control, it should be unique, which means we are letting to know to Tosca that this control has in this many properties. So based on the properties, choose this one. So Tosca, whatever the properties we have given, based on the properties only, Tosca identify the element. If we are not given enough properties by selecting that control to select the control, Tosca obviously will get confused. Okay. Do you understand the concept there? In the same way, or humans also for when humans also have properties like height, weight, color, and everything. If four people are there, if I want to select one person, if I ask you to ask one person like who is having a 6 feet height, in that four people, one people is only having a 6 feet height, it is easy. If two people are there, I have to say another additional property like he is fair, too fair. If I say additional property, it is easy to identify you, to identify the person. In the same way, Tosca also needs a properties to identify the particular controls. How many controls, how many properties we have given by in the selection, like while scanning the control, that much easy for Tosca to identify the control. If you are not given enough properties to identify the control, it will get confused. Obviously, it will show an error like a selected item is not unique. We have to make that as unique. If you get additional properties also, no issues. You understand the concept, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'll tell you identification method how they will work. So as I said, this is a scan window. In the scan window, Warrior X scan through in the concept of Warrior X scan, I'm explaining scan window. It is a scan window, right? We have to select one of the window, like which one we have to scan. We need to scan. Okay. So if you click on scan, obviously it will be navigated to the particular scan window, and it will steer all the controls which are available in this page. Okay. Before that, I want to show you one thing. If you right click on it, see how it is taking. At starting class, I told you like we have several engines. We have several engines in Tosca to steer the applications. For web application, HTML engine will work. In the same way, for desktop application, UAA will work. And we have some other applications. So if you scan SAP application, it will show an SAP application like directly like that. So by default, it is we are selecting this page, right? So by default, it is taking HTML. Don't do any changes here. I'm just letting you to know this too. That's it. Okay. Select this one and scan it. See how many controls are there in this page. Every control, Tosca is steering every control to the scan window. Okay, like I told you, this is a basic window. This is a basic view. If you go to the advanced view, it is a advanced view. And if you go to the condensed view, it is a condensed view. Which means we can have a fully access to the application fully by selecting the controls like this. Okay. If you are in the basic view, you can scan the control. Directly, you can scan the control by selecting it in the application. If you are in the advanced view, by clicking on the select on screen only, you can scan. See, if I'm placing the cursor, it is not scanning. You can observe the difference, right? If you are in the basic window, obviously we don't have any option to choose. So automatically it will navigate to select on screen window option. So we can have an option to scan like this. It will show. If you go to the advanced view, you can select the control in two ways. By selecting the select on screen, obviously you will get the option like in a basic view. If you, another option is there by selecting the controls in the page. Like if you know this is only register button is there are no other buttons, so you can directly select it. Or if you have any confusion where it is exactly, you can right click, you can click on it and you can do highlight selection. It will show where is the control exactly in the page. See, it is. So in the basic window, we can select directly by selecting on screen, but in the advanced view, we can select the controls by select on screen. In the same way, we can select the controls in the page also. Why this option is also available? For example, assume that if you do mouse over on the particular controls, it may show hide items also. It will populate another sub controls also in this. At that time, you can't scan it by select on screen. In that purpose, you can select those controls from here. Okay. And in the advanced view, this is an option which we having for saving the controls after scanning. This is a condensed view, basic view. After scanning the window, we need to do finish the screen. Highlight selection is for highlighting the control. What is the exact control in the page? And this is nothing. It is showing only properties will show. And filter is for filtering the controls. If I click on filter, it will show control type. How many control types are there in the page? For example, it is a huge page, thousands of controls are there. It is difficult to identify the controls by seeing this in this. So you can filter the controls by control type, whether it is a button or like that. You can filter the controls. So it will show only if you click on button only, it will show only button links only here. Okay. In the same way, search option is also available for searching the control. We have a lot of controls is there. By then, if you know the name, what is the name of the control, you can search it with the name. And show content preview is for tables. For example, these are controls and text boxes and everything. If you scan the table, if you want to scan the table, particular table, if you selecting the table, by default, Tosca will steer the table in particular way. Assume that there is a table having 4 rows and 3 columns. Okay, if you scan the table, how the Tosca is taking, like Tosca is taking 4 rows and 3 columns only, or it is taking 5 rows. If you click on show content preview, it will show here how many rows are there, how many columns are there. It is only purpose for tables, how the Tosca is taking table to show how many rows and columns are there. It is taking the right way or not, like that. When we are going to the tables concept, you will understand this clearly, but I'm just telling it. And select new application is for selecting the new application. After scanning the window, we need to do close. Okay. Now we are going to identify identification methods. See, we are in this page. I'll start from that. We want to do properties. Select on screen, and I'm selecting this one. I want to click here, so I'm selecting this one. It is showing the selected item is not unique, which means we have to make that control as unique, right? So we can use properties. First of all, we need to try with the properties. If we can't, then only we will go to anchor and other identification method. So I'll try with the properties. I'm clicking on it. We click on it, properties. It is already there now. So no need to click on this. We click it again, it will go away. So what are the controls that it is taking? It is taking tag as image, which means it is image, right? So the tag is image. In the same way, it is not taking any additional property by default. So it is only taking one property as tag image. There is another property also, like we have name, right? So here you can see how many properties are there. Enable equal to true. For text boxes, it will be there in the same way. Visible equal to. We can see, we can visible it, right? We can see it. So visible equal to, we can select. If we can see in the page, we can select visible equal to, visible or not. We can visible it. If it is a control is hiding, we can't select it visible equal to. After selecting it also, we can't make it unique. Outer HTML. Outer HTML, with the help of the outer HTML, we can make the control as unique. But it is a backend. The code may be changed or may not be changed. We are not guaranteed. Okay. So another property, name, default. See this default name. Show details for computing and internet. See, all these are images. Why Tosca is taking this control as unique? It is taking only one property by default, which is tag as image. We have 6 images there, so that's why Tosca is getting confused. If I give you additional property like computing and internet, okay, is there any additional other control is there with the same name, computing and internet? No, right? So definitely it will get unique. It will become unique if I select this one. See, it became unique. So if this is working for this control means it may not work, the same property may not work for all the controls. Based on the page, based on the controls, we can make it. Okay. Based on the page, based on the controls, we have to think logically and we have to apply the properties. You can do it also by selecting it and deselecting it continuously. Enable equal to, like that. But it is not the right way. Instead of doing all these things, if you think logically, you can apply the logic easily. You can select the control uniquely, very easy way. So if I select this one, it is became unique. Why I didn't select outer HTML means obviously HTML means it is a like a string, some string. It may change or may not change. We are not guaranteed. But obviously the name will not change at any time, right? So that's why I have taken default name. If you take both also, no issues. If both are not changed, obviously the control will be in unique only with strong properties. If it is changed, it will work. If even though it will change, if it is not changed, it will work. Okay. So through the properties, I have selected this.
So we can choose the XPath also. That will show
Ah,
the unique element.
Yes. Coming to the XPath in Tosca, it is a last option. We can choose if you are unable to identify the control by the properties at any cost. If no property is working for us, then only we can choose the XPath.
Okay.
Okay.
So can you explain these like action point, adapter, and all these points, how it works?
Yeah, okay. In representation, we have 3 types of properties, right? Representational, technical, and transform. in the representational properties, mainly it will take we need to consider about for the particular controls, we need to consider about the names and for example, action point. It is taking the action like x-axis and y-axis like that. The coordinates, in the coordinates it will take. And adapter also, I'm not sure about that adapter also. Actually, Tricentis automation is adapter. Control area also x and y with the height. But coming to the representational properties, mainly we will use default name, enabled equal to true, and ID. Sometimes we will use ID, and is steerable or not. Will make sure this also, and picture will not work. Technical also will not work. Technical may change based on the HTML page. It will change. If you put this technical, if you add this technical range, if the page will get changed, which means you are navigated to another page or any additional controls are added in this page. So obviously technical will be changed. So we will not take technical as well. Visible, based on the visibility, we will take it. So here in the representational properties, what are the controls we are going to use? What are the properties we are going to use is the coordinates may be changed. Why? Because some of the new additional, like assume that we have six images are there. Assume that they have added another property, like another control here by adding additional book. Additional book came into the picture. No, so he added another book also. Okay. So now there are 7. Assume that if we have 10 books, obviously these icons will become small, right? These icons will become small and we will have 3 rows here, right? So the x and y axis coordinates may change definitely. Now, if you take this exactly, same here, if you take this exactly, almost this is the 50% of the page, and coming to the x-axis, like x-axis, it is 30% of the page. So from starting here to here, it is middle of the right. From here to here, it is middle. If you want to take this, it may be 50 and 30 or 50 and 35. If additional books are added, obviously it will become small and the coordinates may be changed. It may become 40 and 30 or 40 and 35. So not based on the x-axis and back end things, we need to make the control uniquely by the properties of the particular things which will not change in future also. The book name will not change obviously. If someone has added a book by who write the like some author, the name of the book will not change obviously. In the same way, price may vary. If you select the price, obviously we have an option like selecting the price. Obviously, price may be vary. But if you select the book name or book property like that, it will not change. So that's why we will choose default name. We can choose default name. No need to worry about the action points and adapter and these things. We need to choose default name, whether it is enabled true or not. For example, enable means it is a image. So that's why you don't have an option like enabling. For example, it is a text box. We can enable it, right? So in those in the type of scenario, we can choose enable option. And focused, it is obviously in focused, no issue. Is steerable or not? Sometimes the controls is not steerable, which means Tosca is unable to steer that particular controls. It will also come set text boxes. No need to worry about now. When we are scanning when we are scanning text boxes, then it will get to know this is steerable or not. Visible equal to is applicable for this. Why? Because we can see it. We can see the image. So we can apply the logic, apply the properties visible equal to. If it is a hide control, we can't select it. If you select it, it will not work. Okay. And the class name ID will come also. While coming to the class name and ID also will change. But we will not choose this class name and ID also. Inner text, outer inner HTML, outer HTML, so we will not consider. It may be changed based on the page. If you navigate it to another page or something, obviously it will get changed. Okay. And then auto text may not be changed. Why? Because the name of the auto text, the name of the control is same, computing and internet. Okay. The tag, obviously, the first property Tosca will take is tag only, and the title. Title is nothing but title of the page. Like if you select on this, it will select the by default it will select one title. Show details for computing, which means almost like a name only. And the last one is the expert by the coordinates of the particular element or particular control. What is the coordinates and everything? What is the control like that? It will take. Okay, but first of all, we will choose mainly we have to consider about names, whether it is steerable or not, whether it is enable or not, whether it is visible or not, and in the same way, class name, ID, auto text, tag visible in the text, we will choose. But the main priority is the names which are not going to change in future also. We will consider those first. At last, we can go with the class name and IDs. IDs obviously will get changed whenever the page is getting refreshed. ID will get changed obviously. So at any cost, we will not take ID. By default, it is taking. We can keep it, but by newly adding it, we will not take it. Okay. So this many properties we have. If you click on more properties, you can have number of properties here. Like if you are unable to identify the control by uniquely with these properties, these are the less chance properties. We may not go through it. We may not use it, but it will having like what is the style of background color, what is the style of the image, like that each and every properties are there, but it may be changed. As of now, it is having a background color of white. So in future, if some update is came, if they updated the application, it may be vary, it may be different. They at the time they may be applied a background color as green or white. So obviously, if you select the property, at the next time this control will not work. Okay. In this way, we have to select the control with the properties. What are the properties are not going to change in future also. We can assume if we think like it is a basic thinking, what are the controls, what are the properties are not going to change in the future. We will choose the properties to make the control unique and it will work obviously. I'm clicking on it, saving it, closing it. So this one I have scanned, right? I'm doing checkout for this. Creating a test case. See, if you click on it. The main thing is whenever how many times we have refreshed. For example, if you take additional properties like the outer HTML or technical properties which is having, if you refresh the page, obviously at backend the properties will change. Okay, if you take those properties, if you identify the control by those properties, if you open another time for the same page, it may not work. But if you take the what are the properties are constant for any time, it will work at any time. Okay, this is by properties. Now I'm selecting another. So I'm clicking on it. It is in enemy, which means the selected item is not unique. We have to make the control as unique. So if you go through the by properties to make the control as unique, whatever the property it is taking, tag and inner text and visible equal to, obviously it is visible equal to only. You can see the control. But it became unique, but we are not sure it is also visible equal to, this is also visible equal. We may not sure whether it will work in future or not. And another property is steerable. Default name. Default name also books only. If you select default name, this one and it is became ununique because of these two. These two are same, having same property. So that's why it is became ununique. If we took default name also, it will be an ununique status only. Why? Because in previous step, the default name is working for us. Why? At that time, we have only one name with that name. So we have unique name. So that's why it is working. Now, at this time, default name is also not one. Then we are not supposed to use additional properties like load all properties like background color and everything.
Can you choose visible inner text?
Yeah, you can choose. But if I select visible inner text, see, visible inner text is also same for both, right?
Okay.
So we can't make it. So if you are not able to identify the control by the existing properties, then we can have additional identification methods like anchor, image, and index. Okay, I'll try with the anchor. I'll tell you what is anchor also. It is a filter item bar. Filter item bar means by default it will be at this stage. Like we can see all the controls, available controls in this page. But if you expand the filter item bar, you will show you can see what are the hide elements, hide controls also there in the page. The main elements only, the main controls only will show by default. But if we expand it, the filter, the Tosca scan window will steer the controls which are in and hide also, like everything, div and everything. You can see div means, see, this is a div. This is a div. While developing the web page, they may be put every controls and everything in a particular page. This is a div in the same way. This is a div. This is another div. Okay.
So like automation, we'll go to the parent class of that element.
Yes, for the particular event, we are going to the taking the parent of the particular control. What is the parent of the particular thing? It is anchor. We are taking this, take this reference for this control, take this reference as this thing. So that I'll do the anchor. Identify by anchor. So if you click on identify the anchor, you can see this icon, anchor control and everything. So this book item is available at this div, right? So you can see if I am taking this div, it is available in this one, and this books is available in another div. So if I take parent control, like if I take this div as a parent, obviously it will be unique. Why? This div and this book is available only at once in this page. Books is available two times, but this books and this div both are available at once only. So obviously it will become unique. We are taking the parent control of the particular unit. We can take this one. If I take this one, that is another one. So if I take this one, it is a div. And at the same time, if I take this one, This is also a complete div. Assume that you are taking complete div. If we have a books also at here also, obviously it will be not unique. Why? Because in the complete div you have another two books also with same properties. So this will not work. If you take this div, only one book is there, it will work. Obviously in this div also we don't have any books, obviously it will work. So what is the nearest one for it is? So I'm taking this one, click on it, I click on anchor, then just not here, not select it, just click on here, at exactly the div on the div and drag it and drop it onto the anchor control, this box, this text box, not here, here, not here. Oh, I find the one. So it is saying that a anchor control cannot be shown anchor, which means the anchor which is having it is not be a own anchor. Which means it is already in a particular row, we cannot select it the particular own thing. And try another one. Now it is work. Which div it is taking as a different div? This one, the whole one. If you select the only one div, already the books is in this div only. So the same div cannot be a anchor for the own. We are selecting the anchor the same only. So that's why it is not taking. It need a reference of another anchor, another div, another control. So we are taking this complete div. So that's why it is became unique. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it will work. We have to make sure that if you do drag and drop, then you will get to know that whether it is working or not. If it is working, you can see the green. If it is not working, sometimes it may not throw error, but it will throw an error like it will become yellow. Like how the control is not in, you can see yellow, right? In the same way, you can see yellow, right? So which means after doing anchoring also, the control is not unique. But in this scenario, the control is unique. Okay, which means to identify the control of book we are making, we are letting you to the Tosca, right? You can take the reference of this div. You can take the parent control of div. Based on the div, identify the books. Clear for this?
Yes.
So in this way, identification of anchor will work, which means parent-child relation. The parent of the particular. If you take another one also like this one, which is not in the particular, it will not work because it is a tree. You can see the tree view. So it is the parent for it. It is a parent for it. It is also in the same way. So you can choose any one of those things which will work. Okay, you can take this. So you can try this one, you can try this one, you can try this one, you can try this one. But you can try these only, not this one. Because these are in another div. So obviously these things will not work for this control. So anchor means parent control, parent and child. You want to apply the books, some of the guy having a name Ganesh. Two Ganeshes are there. Her father name is Sam Zero. So take this control as by adding the additional property by adding the another parent control as Sam Zero. You can take Ganesh. Okay. If you take another person like who is having another Shiva, it will not work because Shiva has another other child, another thing. So obviously we need to choose the right parent of the control, which is working. Okay, I'm saving it, closing. it's clicked. Hmm. In the same way, we can have another two options. You can take this any one of this. Why I'm taking this only? Why? Because we have a duplicate names here. So it is easy for you to say, to show the identification method. If I select any one of other things, it will be unique state. Okay. So obviously this is a unique. Now we tried properties and anchor. Now I'll show how to use index and unique. So why it is become unique? I told you previously also. We are having appearance and shoes two times, here and here. Both are having tags and both are having names, right? See, in a textile appearance and shoes tag and a. So for this scenario, you select index, identified by index. How it is showing? Index to output, which means the main advantage of Tosca is, for example, if you are unable to identify the control by uniquely, if you select any one of the controls, what are the similar controls are there with the properties, it will show the number. And by default, it will allot index numbers to each and every control. Now, already we know appearance and shoes, we have two controls with the same name and same properties, appearance and shoes, here and here. We don't have any other controls here with the same name and same tag. In the same way, Tosca also took that there are two controls totally with the same properties. It is a two of two. It is the second one of the all, which means Tosca by default given first index number for this, second index number for this. Okay, based on the page, first index for number for this and second for this. So if you select this one, it will become unique. Okay. For assume that you have four things, Tosca by default assign four index numbers to the same similar control. For example, I want to make it clear this property. I'm not selecting inner text. Okay, I'm removing it inner text. Okay, assume that. See, how many controls are there? I have removed inner text. I have only tag A, which means link. There are 97 links in this page. By default, it has given 34th number for this. Okay. For example, I'll take only inner text. I will not take tag A. Now see how many controls will be there with the same property. Only two. Why? Because we took the name of appearance and shoes. We may not select the tag, but appearance shoes are only two are there. But in previous scenario, we took tag, not name. Tag means links. There are almost 97 links are there. So obviously by default is taking the, we'll select those two only, like tag A and inner text is common. After selecting it, we are unable to identify the control uniquely. So we are going with the index. By default, it will give numbers to the particular controls which are having similar properties. We can select it, and if the selector item is unique, can save it, can close it. You understand this point, right? I think with this you'll get clarity. Hello.
Yeah, we understood.
Yeah. Okay. In the same way, the last option for us to identification methods. Same way. Select here also now. Select here now. Because instead of selecting actually, I'm selecting here. Here also you can select. And make sure that which control you have to select. You are selected. This control I want to select. So I select. So it is also in ununique state. I want to make it unique. We tried these three now. Now I'll show you how the image will work. If you click on the identify the image, this will just work. Identify the image. So identify the image will work based on the image, which means I'm clicking on it. See, any image you can select, which means the image which is constant in future also. For example, we have this many controls here, links here. In future, any additional controls may be added. There is a chance. But you can choose while doing the identify by image, you can choose the exact image which you will not change in future also. Assume that demo workshop is a logo. Obviously, it will not change at any cost. This logo will not change, right? You can change the reference of the image. See, you select like this, click on no only. If you select like this, which means for this reference, for this gift card, based on the coordinates, take the image reference of this one. Take the reference of this image. Based on this image, it will select the control by the coordinates like this. So while selecting it only, you can see again clicking on it. So if I am selecting it, my gift cards is showing. By selecting it, which means it is taking the reference of this image only. Based on this image by the coordinates, it will work. Okay. Or if you don't want to do it, if you want to select another one also, see that it will not change. Manufacturer will not change. You can select this also. Click on now. You can select this also. See, by the coordinates it came. Or if you assume that this also will may change, but this will not change at any cost. Popular tax. Click on this one and click like this. Select like this. Drag and drop and select the particular image. In this image, every text is taken as image only. Click on now. So it is taking, it will become unique because by taking the reference of the particular image, the popular tags image, it will take. You can see here how the image is taken. So Tosca identify this image first. Okay, Tosca identify this image first. Then based on the image, based on the coordinates, it will go to the control. So like this, identify image by image will work. And I saved it. Every time you have to save and close it manually. it works. Okay, briefly, identify the properties means the identification methods of property is nothing like but if we have a similar properties, Tosca will get confused which property, which control we need to click, like I need to click like that. So for that, we have to make sure to Tosca that take these properties, take these properties by giving the additional properties to the control. We need to make the control as unique so that Tosca will identify the controls easily. If it is already in unique state, if you give additional properties also, nothing will happen. If in future already taken properties may change also, it will work by taking the additional another property. Okay. So, and another one is identify by anchor. You can take the control, you can make the control as unique by taking the anchor of the particular control. By which means we are letting you to Tosca know that take the control, this control, identify this control based on the parent control, this control. So first identify it identify the parent control, then it will identify the what is the child control. It need to be selected. It need to be steered. And the next one is identify the indexed. Identify by image index is nothing but if we have a similar controls in the page, by default, Tosca will assign the index numbers to each and every control which are having similar properties. By selecting the index number, also we can make the control uniquely. And the last one is image. Based on the image, by selecting the reference of the image which is constant in the particular application in the particular page, we will select those image by index by like identify by image. So if you select that one, based on the image, Tosca will identify the control. So these four types of identification methods are available. Initially, we will go with the properties. What are the available properties? You can see there, right? So initially, you go with those properties. Then you can go with the anchor, later index, and image is the last one. Even we can't use 1% also image. Obviously, we will use properties almost 60%, and the anchor is also 20 to 30. The index also 10% like that. But mostly properties, anchor, index, and image. Okay. Any doubts up to now? These things you have to make sure. If you know how to identify the control uniquely by these properties, it is easy. Any doubts?